What you man saying? All good?
Yeah.
All good, brother.
Yeah, man. Last time was a bit mad.
I know.
You get me?
Well, you think this time is not going to be mad?
It could be.
It's hard to live up to last time though, because I got the
the last
No,
ones
you
in.
got, I was going to say, last time I remember making a thing saying, yo, you smashed it with these suggestions. I don't know who told you because you couldn't have thought about them yourself.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
Watch today. I'm a producer. People don't know I'm a producer.
He asked
producer, man. Content creator now.
100%.
He asked,
Do I look like a man that asks grok?
he asked like,
Anything, bro.
you look like a grok. You look like...
Okay. Don't worry. When we get into this start sub, so we'll see how many Tottenham players make it in there.
Okay, no problem.
Oi.
No problem.
Cool. Straight in, yeah?
Let's
You
go.
know the
Let's
routine.
go. Let's
People
go.
know the routine.
Let's go.
You're going into the season. This is the context. You've got these 3 players on deck. You go in starting one. You go in with one on the bench, and you have to drop one before the season starts. Deadline day, transfer out. Now, it's not just position based. Not all of them anyway. It could be importance based. It could be style based. It could be moments based. It could be record based. Not all start sub cells have to be same position, in my opinion. But this one is.
Interesting.
So this one's easy.
Yeah.
Van Dijk, John Terry, Yap Stam. Everyone thought Rio in that last one, isn't it? But it's Yap Stam. For me, Yap Stam is.
And he's gone 3 eras as well.
Yeah, you have to just
That's-
cut across.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I guess, actually, you as well. Maybe you as well. We're the only ones that cover all 3 eras.
Just about.
Just about?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
Fairs.
I'll start with why Yap Stam was there, because a lot of people are probably saying Rio.
Yeah.
For me, Yap, a man came into the league 3 years, won the treble in his first year, and 3 league titles back to back. The 3P, obviously, that's recently been bitten by City football. It doesn't make that a compliment any less.
Impact.
And the only reason he left is because of a falling out with
Fergie.
Alex
Fergie.
Ferguson, yeah.
He was on course to potentially become the greatest centre back this league has seen. With that entry, the way he played, his style, his aggressiveness, but he was a bit of a ball playing centre back as well.
could play,
He had a
man.
bit of
Dutch,
everything.
man.
He
Yeah,
matched
he had a bit of everything.
work at
100%.
Milan as well. He matched work at Milan as well.
Yeah. But we're talking Premier League all time
Get
here,
it,
so
I
I'm
get
not
it.
trying to look at what he's done
Yeah, yeah.
internationally
Got
or
it.
for other clubs. But for Man United, bro, we won the league 97-98. From there, I'm
did,
thinking,
bro.
obviously, I'm young. Let's kick on. Man United win it back. And it's not just him that won it, but he came in and just gave them this new aura defensively. And Yap Stam was different, and he
Him and
goes
Ronnie
under the
Johnson, man.
radar when everyone has these conversations about centre backs in Premier League era. Stam goes under the radar.
Yeah.
It's because of the time. He didn't have as much time as these others. And to your point, he definitely, I think his peak at United came just as, I think it came just before I was watching regular Premier League ball. Like you're watching football, Ben. I wasn't watching regular Premier League ball, right? And I feel like, to your point, that short period, you can probably find an argument to compare him with the best there. But the fact of the matter is, the best of the best, they were in the Prem for longer, and they've matched more work.
So
But back then,
longevity.
the Premier League wasn't the best league, was it?
Tell you what, they had good attackers though, man. There
Serie
was some-
A
Serie A was
the
considered
best.
the best league, and he was in Serie A.
Yeah.
So
And he did well over there.
I
to
know
be
we're
fair.
judging him on the barometer of now. Premier League is the best league or considered the best league. So if you've matched work here for longer, then you're considered the best. But back then, that wasn't necessarily the situation, especially when you're looking at defenders. Serie A is the place of defending.
No, but there's still some terrifying defenders. Thierry Henry,
100%.
Alan
Yeah, I'm not
Shearer.
saying there wasn't. I'm just saying like Premier League has got the glow now.
No, 100%.
It didn't have back then necessarily the same.
But I feel like the art of defending was so present then. Like you had some.
You had some
Tony
quality,
Adams,
some
Sol
I'm not saying this
Combo.
to take away from him, by the way. I'm
Defenders.
saying like
No, I get what you're trying to say. I get what you're trying to
just
say.
because he's done 3 years here doesn't mean that he didn't do what he did
elsewhere.
elsewhere.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't
No.
matter. Yeah.
Listen
like-
to, listen
And
to
Van
the-
Dijk actually mentions him in terms of players he looked up to.
listening to
growing
these
up.
two, I was like, Turkish has smashed it with the case, and then I hear the counterpoints of Toby as well in terms of the longevity in 3 years, whatever. But you said like you didn't really watch football like that at that period.
not religiously.
I watched it religiously.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember,
Yeah, the GRIZZ peak
that
days,
was
yeah.
young, free and single, man.
Yeah.
No family to contend with.
Different
just
era.
football.
Different
Just
era.
football.
Different era.
And I have
said
to say, and
gym,
this is
eggs and football.
This is going to come from a
Yeah.
Liverpool fan. So you need to put respect on my name about my bias and unbiased, yeah?
Yeah.
For me, in that era, I thought, watching what's his name, Yap Stam, I thought he's unbeatable. So people talk about Van Dijk now one-on-one. Remember the stat about never been beaten. I thought growing up watching Yatstam, he's unbeatable. That's how good he was. Like, he's Terminator. The only thing I hear, but I don't agree with fully, was about his ability on the ball. It was underrated. It was good. It was very good. He's Dutch. There's no Dutch player that's not good on the ball except Winston Bogarde at Chelsea. but
he wasn't
as a
Van
defender.
Dijk on the ball.
He was a Terminator.
Yeah, no, he wasn't as.
That's
a
the
machine.
vibes I got with
He's
Sam.
unbeatable.
He's locking it down.
Aura,
Yeah.
Invincibility, scary. Bro, I'm mentioning his name and the microphone's dropping.
Yeah.
That's an
think-
era. That's an
yeah.
era of Terminator defenders.
That's what I'm saying.
And Terry's kind of the
In
one
terms
that,
of,
that crosses over from
Yeah.
Terminator to what we have now.
Rio Ferdinand
I
came
was
just across a little bit, you know,
what you saying
2001
with this,
too, where he was like, yo, the next of like graceful defenders where, you know what, the modern day defender. That's why you kind of put Rio Ferdinand. But in terms of going past him, bro, like people were scared, bro.
Scared.
Like, you know what I mean? If I was to sing this song, like, we'd get demonetized. You know what I mean? Like, he's the hardest man.
Yeah.
Like, bro, and he's, for me, it's like a juggernaut, an absolute beast, like a specimen, like just an all-rounder as well. Like, listen, not great as Van Dijk on the ball, but, yo, you didn't want to go cross him. You didn't want to go step next to him, Stam. And him and Ronnie Johnson, for me, create that very good partnership in there, and he was underrated as well.
Mad partnership.
Yeah.
Liverpool fans saying Ronnie
Yeah.
Johnson, mad centre
Yeah.
back.
So I think your point on like he was complete. So I'm gonna take your advice there in the sense that he wasn't complete and he wasn't as complete on the ball because we need to talk about also John Terry, right? Because John Terry,
You know.
when we talk about a complete,
Yeah,
like
I
I get
know.
it. People are gonna say, "Oh yeah, put him in a higher line. Maybe he's not as smooth with his defending. He's a bit
Bro.
more."
His
He's a bit
positioning
more
was
like
exceptional.
But like
That-
John Terry, left foot, right foot, he could pass. He scored goals, and he was when we talk about like John Terry was lockdown defender. Say what you want to say about him outside of football. There's a couple things that we can talk
we're
about.
talking about
We
football.
don't
Yeah,
need to-
yeah, we're talking about
we don't
football.
But when we
talk
talk when we talk of football, this guy played with Carvalho, played with Alex, played with Gary Cahill, played
Yep.
with David Luiz.
Tal
played.
Benayoun.
He played with till
He played with
36.
literally like 4 or 5 different partners in 4 or 5 different iterations of Chelsea, and they won titles. It's no coincidence. They won titles. I think the only season he played, he was in their squad where they won a title and he wasn't starting, was literally in his last season for Chelsea under Conte.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Every other iteration of Chelsea, they won a title. And for me, that's why like I hear your point with Yap Stam, but because Yap Stam, his best in the Prem came before I was exposed to it. I'm looking at
I agree.
I'm looking at Van Dijk and Terry, and for me, it's literally
I'm
so
going to say
close.
2-3 sentences
It's so
on,
close.
and before Matisse goes obviously on his guy, but I'm going to say 2-3 sentences about Terry. Out of the 3, John Terry was the best box defender.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
I agree.
In my opinion, John Terry was brilliant on the ball, very underrated. Left foot, right foot, ping, crossfield ball, everything else. Great scoring record as well.
Unbelievable
Brilliant presence,
scoring record.
Brilliant leader. All of that. The only downside, because we're going to pick a downside for everyone.
Yeah.
The only downside about him was the term parking the bus was made in that era. Mourinho had his centre backs protected like no one, like the mafia. They were that's how mad their protection was.
So you're saying that-
So that's the only downside. I know you said it's sarcastically like playing a high line. No, you can't. Like it wasn't. You can't play him 1-on-1 against. Like he didn't have the 1-on-1 ability of a Stam or a,
I mean,
or a
Wayne Rooney,
Virgil.
do you know
But
what
box
Wayne Rooney
defender?
said? Wayne Rooney said he was one of the hardest
Wayne
defenders.
Rooney's not the brightest footballer around. I'm not gonna lie. But
I mean, he's one of the best players.
Damn.
And
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
He's
one of the best players to ever play the
I
I
mean,
game.
mean, we're
he's
not going to go
wild.
by
He was
testimonies
quick.
because then we're going to go by
He
testimonies
was-
of other players when it comes to others. So
I
it's
get
not
that.
about
is
testimonies,
wild.
is it?
That is
No, no,
wild.
but
Testimonies, like, yeah, fair enough. They thought it. Their opinion is valid, but so is the big sixes.
What I would say there, and I think you've sort of alluded to where I'm going with my pick, right? Is what I would say there is the defender that I'm picking. He has the combination of everything we've spoken about in my opinion, everything we've spoken about for Yap Stam in terms of like he had that air of invincibility. You're not getting past him. To what you just mentioned now about he's complete. He can pass. He can score goals.
Box
right?
defender as well.
and he
Right.
can defend. He
Clearances.
can defend the box. So that's why like, and I know Matisse is going to
And
make his case
organiser.
for Terry.
Of course.
But for me, like, and this is a recent opinion because I used to have Terry number 1, but for me, I feel like for me it's Van Dijk now. Like
Well,
Is
the
that
last
not recency
season,
bias,
the last,
though?
It's not recency bias. It's not recency bias
because the
because-
last
Go on.
session we had was, he needs to win something. Remember we had this conversation. I said when he adds another league title, the conversation's gonna be different. So
You said that.
but we all agreed. I remember you lot nodding. Okay, watch the video, people. Go back and watch the
Did
video.
we not?
These men were nodding.
I don't. I
anyway,
think we
that's
looked at
I
it.
think he said that, and that's
Yeah,
his
and then he was like,
business.
"Yo, 5 years and this and that."
adds
I
a
got
lot,
him
adds a-
saying
the
that.
second title adds a lot of weight.
But the reason why I don't think it's recency bias is because like I had him close to these man anyway, but I would always be of the opinion that I can't possibly put him ahead of these man because these men have got like 10, 12 years skin in the game. He's only been at Liverpool for 4, 5, 6 years. But I'm like, at what point do we stop talking about the years and actually look at the level that he's performing at in those years? Because if I take the level that Van Dijk has performed at Liverpool, it is comparable and probably beats a lot of the centre backs that we speak about in such high regard. Like every single attribute that you can give to some of these defenders, you can give it to Van Dijk.
So this is my case
You can.
for Terry. The quality of attackers that Terry and probably Stam is coming up against is far better than Van Dijk. And I'm sorry, in recent years, the quality of the attackers that we're seeing in this Premier League and strikers in particular is of nowhere near the threat level that Terry and Stam was going up against. And Terry is dealing with Van Persie's, he's dealing with Rooney's, he's had a bit of Aguero, he's had a bit of Tevez, he's had Henry, he's had everything. And there is no striker right now. We're talking about Isak is the best striker in the league, just clear. Like there's no conversation.
No, it's Haaland.
Well, right, but he wasn't even deemed world class in the last big six. We had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 world class strikers at a time. Jermaine Defoe would be able to clear half these man.
Okay, but
80% of these man.
yeah,
And
100%.
the quality of the attackers that you're going up against is very important in this conversation when we talk about the quality of the defending, because it's easier to defend against lower quality of attackers.
No, but
Right?
I think
So I'm not saying Van Dijk isn't in this conversation. Of course he is. That's why we're having this discussion. But Terry has got the longevity. He's got the leadership. He's got the goals. He's got the defending. He's got the ball playing. And he's got the quality of the attackers and the trophies won, slam dunking on everyone. So for me, I'm saying Terry's first pick.
So I like that. I like that argument. I'm glad because that's a very good point, right? But I think we need to look at the attributes, right? We need to look at the attributes because those in fact, let's look at those attackers. Those attackers you mentioned, Thierry Henry took John Terry on a dog walk multiple times.
Take Van Dijk. It will take everybody to the dog walk.
Yeah, but that's the so when you're saying
Well, Mbappe has it. So Mbappe is the
exactly. So when you're
See
saying
Van Dijk, though,
when you're saying quality of when you're saying wait.
Did you hear what he said?
What did he say?
Did you hear what he
Modern
said?
day
Did you see
version,
his
I
face?
said.
I don't
I
know.
said
I didn't
modern
hear
day
what he
version.
said.
Stop stirring.
So when
early.
you-
It's early, brother.
So
early.
when you're
I said Monday version. I know, man's
so like, and it's not to say. And it's not to say like we've seen Van Dijk get like there's been moments where Van Dijk has been cooked. The Lele
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, but
Perisic has cooked him once before. Like we've seen
It's not
moments.
free. Don't do that.
It's more
not
than
free.
free. It's more than
It's
free.
not free.
more than
Don't
free.
do that.
But the point I'm making
Early
is
years
your
as
point
well,
on
the
attackers.
Southampton Humble days.
Your point on attackers, I get where you're going with it. John Terry did play in an era with better attackers, but some of these attackers, they also exposed John Terry's very own weaknesses that we've spoken about on this conversation. I've seen Aguero give this guy the business. I've seen Van Persie give this guy the business, and it's no shame in that. These are like, so when people have this point, they're like, oh, but he played in these are elite. These are
But
like
this is why, attributes, but this is why my counter to that, thanks for countering anyway, but my counter to that would be, this is where the team structure and the formation and the coach, how he plays his stylistically is important. So you put
100%.
You put Terry in a Klopp team where he doesn't really care about defending, play a high line, we're going one-on-one, or a Fergie team, because Fergie played 2-at-2 versus at the back.
Yeah.
You don't do that with Terry. You can't do that with Terry. And that's why. And I'm not diminishing all the things that you've said because I agree. I've called him the best box defender in the Premier League, but I wouldn't call him.
And that's why.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, and that's why I wanted to talk on attributes because it's like, okay, the standard. I get your point. The quality of attacker the defenders are facing now isn't as good as it was before. But what the defenders are being asked to do nowadays is tougher
Different
than what
level.
they had to do
Different
before.
level.
Because Van Dijk, he's asked
Offside trap is
he's
all about
asked,
semi-automated lines, brother.
Play on the halfway line. Get on the ball. Spray the ball left and right. Win all your aerial duels. He's got like his aerial duel success rate is literally like top 2, top 3 in the league. His ground duel success rate is ridiculously high. 1-on-1, like you can say what you want, but we've seen Van Dijk against the best of attackers, and 1-on-1, you know you know you're in for hell if you're going up
Same thing
against him
about Cherry
one-on-one.
as well. Like, you know,
You can't. No. Some of those points you can't. You can't.
Terry, you know
put
the
Terry
thing
on the
about
halfway
Terry,
line.
you think you
can't.
could outpace him, yeah? But his positioning was one of the best you've ever seen in the league. His position has set everyone like, yo, like, what's this guy coming? What's this guy
Do you know
doing?
who John Terry reminds me
these
of?
guys were
I'm
quick.
going old school.
These guys were quick.
With Tony Adams. But again,
Yeah.
Tony Adams was in that George Graham back for protection,
That's who
defense
he looked
first.
up to, Tony Adams.
And this is my you can see
also
John
doing still your job. Still got to do
Tony
your job.
Adams
I
was
agree with Saeed.
Still got to
ridiculous.
do your job, though.
I agree with Saeed
Terry
there.
did his job. And
I don't
As
think
usual, in these situations,
I don't
we're
think he
trying
was
to
as protected
So, yeah, we're
as
trying to look
you
for a
say,
little,
though.
little minor, yeah.
Come on.
I don't think he was as protected as you say because he's
The term part of the bus was in that.
Yeah, but that's
that team.
but even if you think that, they set a defensive record like 15 goals
15
conceded.
goals, bro.
No team has done that.
Has Van Dijk done that?
But this is my point about the team structure. It's
Yeah,
all
but
based
it's not
on
just the
defense.
team
Yeah, but
structure.
let's not
Because
pretend
they-
that
because
Matisse said a couple of weeks
Hold
ago
on.
he wasn't
Did he not
excited
score?
by that
No,
team.
but then he did it with Carlo Ancelotti. He did
Exactly.
it with
So this
They
is the
scored
thing.
goals or
There-
Chelsea?
Jose Mourinho
there is a conception of what Chelsea was in that era, and I get that for the Mourinho era in the first round. But let's not pretend like Terry was only part of that. Terry was part of, like you said, 4, 5, 6 different teams under multiple managers with different styles of play,
And adapted
he was
every year.
always in there every single season. It wasn't Chelsea didn't park the bus for 10 years. That's not true.
With age, you never looked at it and thought, it's
7.
getting worse, you know,
And
this John
that
Terry.
longevity
It was
is
only Scolari that you didn't-
that longevity.
I can't lie.
That
I don't
longevity is
think they parked
ridiculous.
it against-
We're
with
talking about
Ancelotti.
21
I don't
all the
even
way
think they
up
parked
to.
it that
In
much
this
against
situation,
We're
Chelsea.
talking
it
about,
was-
hold on, we're talking about 21 years old to like what, 34, 35? Like that longevity is ridiculous.
No, honestly, I really, really respect Terry. Like, there's defenders that I look at and I would say, Terry used to be a nightmare. Like, bro, every time just there at the right place, blocking it, like just
But it's-
leadership qualities.
and do you know what?
Him and Carvalho, man.
Putting his body on the line, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Sometimes Van Dijk has been caught out with the aura defending. You know, the 2-step.
Agree.
Like,
And that's why I
Terry
mentioned
would
it.
put his head where foot is being.
Matisse.
You know,
Yeah, but-
Matisse,
but-
Matisse,
but-
check this
but-
out.
Like, that's
but-
real
but-
defending.
Matisse, check
No,
this
no, no,
out.
but
You
do
know
you
what
not
I mean?
think-
Matisse, check this out. I don't disagree with you. You know?
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. I've said this about Van Dijk myself, and I got lambasted by Liverpool fans. But I'm sorry, it kind of works in his favour.
100%.
Of course it
He
does,
makes
yeah.
it look easy.
Yeah.
He makes it look easy. But I agree with
Yeah.
you. Sometimes I think, yo, Verge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's so calm.
He's so calm
He
with
don't
it.
need to do it sometimes. But I agree with you.
Sometimes he does. I agree.
Yeah,
sometimes
sometimes
he
he
does
does.
need to do it, and he doesn't.
I agree.
Yeah.
But for the most
I
part,
agree.
when we talk about positioning, etc., more often than not, Van Dijk is jockeying because he's already put himself in a good enough position where he's able to essentially
Brother, he's
intercept
bullying,
and grab
man.
grab what the attacker has
It's
to
a great
offer.
thing. Look,
What-
in these situations, we always think like we're diminishing one.
And-
Van
Yeah,
Dijk, you know
no,
the
no,
thing about
the
Van
bad
Dijk is
ways.
that,
The bad
you know,
ways.
the maddest thing about Van Dijk is that you already know he's won the tackle. That's for a defender. Like, that is crazy. Like, you already know, he's ahead of him, the defender. The attacker's ahead of him. He's there. I know he's
If we're
getting
just
it.
going by the thing is, if we're just going by style of these defenders, yeah.
We're gonna be here all day.
No.
Yeah.
But if we just go by style, you're picking Van Dijk and one of Terry or Stam.
As
You
a
get what I'm
partnership.
saying?
It's style and-
as a
it's style and
as a
substance,
partnership.
though. See,
But
Stam
that to
and,
me doesn't mean that I
Van Dijk.
automatically picks Van Dijk.
Oh my days. Stam and Van Dijk would be
No,
crazy.
you're just
Van Dijk
thinking
would
of the
be-
balance. Yeah.
That's the balance there because Van Dijk is special. He's all round, but I love the rugged type of defenders. more.
Yeah.
It comes to what you prefer. We've had these conversations about other players.
Yeah,
recently
and
as
that
well.
era.
What you
so-
prefer.
But I'm not saying
Yeah.
Van Dijk can't do
Shall I
that.
tell you,
He's
mad
got a bit
thing?
of that.
I prefer Stam as a stylistically. I love those kind of defenders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The
But-
boot.
Just the ball,
Bro,
bro.
if I'm a manager,
Yeah.
I'm a manager,
jewels.
I don't give a shit. I don't want you looking pretty.
Yeah.
I want you coming in
slide
like,
tackles.
yeah, you like, you know,
Win your
scarred up
jewels.
your
This is
Terry
why I
Butcher
love
old
Vidic.
school.
I love Vidic
So
for that reason.
I get that.
Yeah.
But I think that does
But
need to
I,
be.
think, I do think, though, it's a good testament to Van Dijk. He's in these conversations now. Like, he's not before. You know, before he was like, Van Dijk, man, come on, man, 2-3
I
years.
don't know
man.
why, but
No,
yeah,
you're
it
right.
was.
No,
And
it's a testament
He
to
makes
Van
sense.
Dijk
And
now. He's in these conversations now.
And then let's also look at availability as well, right? So the one time this guy's been out of the Liverpool team was when he had was for a year when he had the mad knee injury. Other than that, he plays every single game.
Yeah. Durability is
Every
ridiculous.
single game, no matter who, no matter where, no matter when,
I
he
think
plays
you could
every
say
could
single
say that
game.
for Terry as well.
Though, man.
Terry had
Yeah.
injury problems. He did have some injury problems. Not at the start,
he
but
would
he
be there.
had some injury
Listen,
problems. Yes,
Yeah,
he
when
did.
he got
cut
kicked in
to
the
his
head.
head.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
because he's
kicked to
putting his head in
head.
front of the
Yeah.
boot.
Remember that goal?
But-
Was it Carabao Cup final?
Yeah, when
yeah,
his
yeah.
tongue rolled.
Brother.
Put his boot
This
on.
brother
Bro,
was
but
in there.
That is a
Bro,
warrior, man.
That's when you're a warrior, you're gonna have some injuries because
Yeah,
man's
he's
putting
in the
his
trenches.
head
I'm hearing
on the
that.
ground. Do you know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
hating on the Terry
He's in
at
the
all.
trenches. It's tough.
Let's go around quickly. I'm gonna start. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start Stam. If I'm honest with you, I know it's a shock, but that's just my.
Nah, that's fair.
I don't think it is a shock.
Out of the three,
No,
that's
it's
my
personal preference.
favorite
I knew it was
defender.
going to happen like that. Yeah.
And because I lean more. You see the reasoning that you gave Terry with the strikers he faced. On top of that, I think he's captained the most Premier League titles.
That's
and
crazy.
he's most
though.
like for like. Though, if he's on the bench, he has to replace Stam. Yeah, I'm going start Stam, bench Terry,
Comments
sell
in the
Van
chat.
Dijk.
Comments in the chat.
That's what I'm going.
At
Cool.
Turkish.
Who's next?
Yeah.
The comments gonna get at me because they're young.
But
They
wait,
don't know
wait,
Stam.
Give me
But
your
I'm
comments,
telling
man.
you.
Give me your
Yeah,
opinions,
Stam's
man.
next.
Come on.
Go on,
Give me your
go.
opinions.
He just said he prefers Stam stylistically as
But
well.
let's go Saeed because we know what
I
Chris
agree.
is gonna
No,
go.
I hear that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm gonna start John Terry, man. You know it's gonna be crazy, but I just have to respect this guy, bro. You know what I mean? And this is me. I'm going against one of my guys. You know what I mean? Stam. But I just have to almost give the respect for Terry, bro. Like playing against him, obviously not me, but United, and what he would give to their team. And for me, the level of defending and commitment, unbelievable. Second to none for me. One of the greatest we've ever seen. Put everything past, whatever's happened off the field. On the field, he has been one of the best defenders England has only produced, but the Premier League has produced. So I'm going to put Terry there. I'm going to sub Stam. It's only right. And I'm going to sell Van Dijk.
To Van Dijk's been sold
Respectfully.
twice.
Respectfully.
Yeah, respectful still.
Yeah.
It's a good feat.
Maybe in
Good
5
feat
years'
for
time we
him.
can have this conversation.
It's tough, man.
We know who you're
No,
starting.
no,
Honestly,
I know.
yeah,
I'm not disputing it.
What's his
Yeah,
gimmick?
but
No, he's thinking.
What's
No,
his
I
gimmick?
respect
still
that.
have to-
Yeah, he's
What's
thinking.
his gimmick?
I still have
No,
to
no,
give
he's
my
respect-
bench and sell though, don't
If
I?
it was a dickhead,
And
he
it
would have
ain't
just gone
easy.
straight
What's the way
into
you
it.
are, Alice?
I like the way he's
Bro,
respecting.
this you have to be respectful, bro. These
100%.
defenders are top class.
100%.
Like I didn't get to watch Stam, but I know Stam needs to be like considered.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will start Terry because I do believe the level of attackers is very important here for me anyway. And the longevity is crazy. I've seen more Van Dijk, so I have to bench Van Dijk and sell Stam, and I'm not. Yeah. I've seen too much of Van Dijk not to sell him. Like Van Dijk is
I expected that.
Van
what
Dijk
Spurs
next
do.
to Terry would be. Oh,
I mean, they're playing the same position, so you can't really play them, can you?
No,
Huh?
you can. One's front-footed.
you
one's
could
opposition.
you could put
because
them
obviously
together.
John
You got
Terry
Van
played
Dijk's got the
left
pace.
side, didn't he?
Yeah. Van Dijk.
Actually, did he
Van
play
Dijk can
left
play
side or
either
right
side.
side?
No,
I
he
don't
played left side.
remember.
Yeah. Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Van Dijk on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Tobes.
Yes, it's tight. My top two is very, very tight.
Man
But-
said top two, Okay. That
But
means like.
no.
I know who's
But they're all
You know your third straight
they're all
away.
top. So for me, my first is Van Dijk. No bias. I just think based off what I've seen, I feel like he has the best blend of attributes of all these centre backs. Right. Second, I'll go John Terry because I do think John Terry after Van Dijk, he's the second best centre back in Premier history. And then I'll have to go with Yap Stam to sell.
That's fair.
It's tough.
I'm going. Even though stylistically, what I love in my centre back, if I'm a coach, is Yap Stam. But what the thing with Van Dijk is, and we talk about other positions and how players make things look easy, and we call them geniuses. Zidane played at his own pace, yeah, and we say, why? How? Everything's 100 miles per hour, but this man's playing like that. Why? Because he's a genius of the game. Same with forwards. We see Messi. Everything's slide tackles going in. Right? Messi's just slow. Every player in every position is a genius of their art, and the way Van Dijk plays like that, and we've got this vision of him being lackadaisical. Why? What? It's because he's, in my opinion, a genius centre back, and that's why I'm going to go for Van Dijk start. I'm going to go Stam second because, in my opinion, again, just my opinion, he's the best one-on-one centre back I've ever seen in my life, and respectfully, John Terry is very high in my opinion because I love his leadership quality. And I said, if I was a manager, John Terry would be one of the
yeah.
But in that category, I'd sell John Terry.
Yeah.
That's 2 Van Dijk sales, 2 Stam sales and then 1 Terry sale.
Wow.
So everyone's been sold.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, everyone's
That's
been
a good
sold.
start.
That's
I think that's a
fair.
good
That's a good start.
All right, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Your thoughts. Was it a strong lineup? Van Dijk, Terry, or Stam?
I think we all had compelling cases. It was
Yeah,
very
because they're all
respectful.
top
You've
defenders.
done me though.
They're all top
With
defenders.
with the like Terry over Stam.
Yeah.
Because you
That,
must have seen
that
Stam.
Chelsea United battle.
Bro, the battle was tough, man.
Stam was. I thought, man.
I know, but bro.
Now, fair.
Bro, they took 2 titles off us, man.
Oh, so okay, you
I
hurt.
mean, they took 2 titles
Okay,
off.
you hurt.
Arsenal, to be fair, as well.
Not
He's hurt,
you.
he's
You were third.
Your butt hurt basically.
No, but I'm saying though, they came in and they asserted
Yeah,
themselves.
they went brazy.
They went brazy, but
went
four,
brazy.
was it 15 league goals?
Yeah, 15 league goals.
That was
considered
mad.
all season.
That was mad. And I think you did
I
them a
don't-
disservice.
yeah, I
by
don't care how you're set up.
Back in the
busting.
bus. It's not back in
Because
the bus.
they were
It's the art of defending.
they shut teams out, and when they needed to cook teams, they would cook teams.
Yeah.
They like yeah. That was
Let's
mad.
not look back. Let's look forward. I got another 3 here, ready to go. Are you man ready?
Yeah. Make sure Grizz can't see that iPad, you know.
I'm not seeing it. Wallahi, I can't see it.
Kind of
Nah,
It's
you
just
can't see it.
shaded.
You can't see it.
It's like the sunlight. I'm trying to see it, but I
Let me do
can't.
this one here.
He's positioned it so good.
Let me do this one here.
The sun's hitting it.
Harry Kane, Luis Suarez, or Diego Costa.
Oh,
This is
Last time you said, "Come on, this is."
easy. Come on.
Last time you said, "Come on, this is easy."
This is easy, bro.
That probably brought up the biggest debate we had.
Yeah.
This is easy.
You say easy because you're probably going to side off Costa, but Costa was
Costa,
integral,
though, his
to,
impact, though,
integral
man.
to 2 league titles.
Of course, he
Two
was.
league
Something
titles.
that
was-
the other 2 didn't do. Hence
Costa
why
was
he's there.
cold. Costa was cold.
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, I know what Turkish has done here. I know exactly what he's done. He's gone with pure footballing ability.
Or the
Pure
trophies.
footballing ability. I'm talking about one of the most creative, unpredictable, beautiful players I've seen in the Premier League, but just doesn't have the longevity. But Suarez was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're talking about coming into a team, and even on his debut, I know he didn't score, but he's nutmegging people, he's twisting people, he's going left, he's going right, he's giving you free kicks, he's giving you long shots, he's giving you goals from the halfway. Complete player, made people around him better. He was part of that front three of Suarez, Sterling, and
SAS.
Sturridge. SSS. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable to watch. Breaking, goal scoring was
Some of
no
the
problem.
goals are crazy.
Yeah.
Hungry. That South American bite.
Oh.
No pun intended, but
Yeah.
he had it both ways, biting both
Nah,
manners.
do pun intended.
Yeah, pun
that
intended,
was a
not
good one.
intended.
Double
It was a
entendre.
mad dog.
Double entendre.
Mad.
You knew when he was on the pitch and your team were playing against him, you thought, shit. Like, we're gonna have a long
Brother.
day today. Long day today.
What?
Because he's
Yeah.
just, do you know what it is? He mixes the South American grit and determination and nastiness
flair.
with the flair of a Brazilian
Yeah.
and the skill. You can't, you can't go wrong with that. Yeah,
I'm gonna. Obviously, you've spoken on Suarez as a Chelsea fan. I'm gonna speak on Harry Kane as a Liverpool fan, and say Harry Kane, for years I thought was underrated, and I didn't know why people didn't rate him like I did. And that's not me bigging myself up, saying, "Yo,
Which
why you not
years?
seeing
Which
what
years
I
you
see?"
talking about? Like, as in,
Just Harry Kane for me was consistently such a good striker.
Yeah.
And I think he was a great striker. His ability to finish, because you got to remember, we're going to do this Spurs, but he's playing for Spurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's playing for Spurs, man.
To be fair,
And he wasn't
you're
playing.
not-
He
you're not
wasn't
playing-
playing for the best. Was that the best version of Spurs?
It was.
That was a good
but
team.
It didn't have like
No,
the
they had a
Van
good team.
der Vaart,
No, they had-
Luka
no, they had
Modric,
Dembele.
Gareth Bale.
Son.
It was
He missed
ma-
out on that part.
He
you know?
missed out on
complete.
Bale.
But he
Yeah,
still
yeah,
had a
yeah.
good team.
I would say that was a more complete squad.
What
Yeah.
I'm
And I
saying
think
is add Bale
Yeah, it was.
to his assists.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
I-
yeah.
and I-
Kane would be a different
Bro,
level.
that must piss
And I'm
Tottenham
gonna-
fans off not having him play with
I'm
them.
I'm gonna say it first because I feel like it's gonna be used against him. So I do think at Tottenham, like there were moments, maybe in the finals, Champions League final, he shouldn't have played. He fought. I think he
Yo,
declared
real
himself
talk.
fit. He shouldn't have played.
I was so happy.
And then in the League Cup finals, I would say the 2021 one, I do think he should have performed better against Man City. And I think just his performance in finals in general, I think it's like a stick that he gets beaten
It's
with.
the salary
but
bit,
when
innit?
you look at his performances in the Prem, when you look at the goals,
Bro,
when you look at the number
Let me
of
just
big
finish
six-
my thing about Harry Kane
Yeah.
and you carry on. You're right. Harry Kane for me, like complete finisher. Like I used to think Robbie Fowler in my time, Robbie Fowler was the best finisher I've ever seen. Harry Kane comes close in my opinion. Left foot, right foot. But what I found infuriating were people not recognizing his playmaking ability, his ability to drop. He had a bit of Sheringham in him. Now I know it's not obvious and glaring because Sheringham predominantly done that and scored goals, whereas Harry Kane predominantly scores goals
And
but
did
can
that.
do that as well.
Does that,
But when he does that, Oh Lord, you look at some of his passing ability and his like Harry Kane hold up play
Weight of
because he's not
pass.
the biggest guy, whatever. You know, he's quite big, but header, left foot, right foot, rifling shot, low black lift. Yeah, Harry Kane, you know, deserves more respect in my opinion. So I just wanted to speak on Harry
You're
Kane.
right, though. I've gone for one's longevity, Kane, one's levels, Suarez, and one's impact. Because for me,
Impact.
Costa,
Yeah, you got
Bro,
Costa.
he
impact.
was
listen,
short stint,
brother.
both league titles, 20-goal seasons, and he's a very. It's like an old school striker and a new school.
I love them kind of strikers. Like
Yeah,
they
he's a
just
bully.
Costa was
bully
cold.
boys.
He was
He's a bully.
in
You
his
got
pomp.
one, Nana.
In his pomp, he was an
You
elite.
got bully.
Because the thing is with Costa, he
Getting
was
bullied.
he was their piece. He was their missing. I would say he was their missing piece in the.
And they were having struggled, you know, Morata.
Yeah.
They were having Higuain.
before Morata. So obviously he
Higuain
came
was
bef-
after.
Yeah.
Morata and Higuain was after, but it was
Yeah.
more the fact that before that, obviously they spent big on Fernando Torres in 2011.
Yeah.
Drogba, they sold him in 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
So they were searching. They had like Samuel Eto'o, then Babar,
Yep.
Fernando Torres.
Lloyd Remy.
You know what I was going to say? Lloyd Remy.
It wasn't working. It wasn't working, right? So they had to go out there and get them a striker where they knew we have a striker that can take us to league title. And I think in his credit, like for me, when he was there, I felt he was a world-class striker. And in that period,
he was at that time.
I felt he was a world-class striker
yes.
because not just because of the impact, but because whenever Chelsea needed him to stand up, he would stand up, right? I think the one thing I would probably say goes against him is like I never saw, even though I saw the performances probably maintain it for the majority of the season in some parts, his goal scoring would tail off in the second half of the season.
This is what
He
I was
would
gonna
always
say.
he'd always front load his goals, and his goal scoring would tail off. Like he may score some goals towards the end, but it would tail off. For me, Luis Suarez, when he really found his groove at Liverpool, he's went from start to finish.
Yeah.
Right,
Harry
you're not wrong.
Kane,
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
Harry
start
Kane,
to finish, Harry
start-
Kane.
He came out the gate from start to finish. Like, he literally, Harry Kane made his like, and it infuriates me when people talk about, oh, he didn't score in finals. But like when I look at every single Big Six team, Harry Kane has had big performances against every single team. He's had big performances against you. He made his name.
Yeah.
Literally, the Chelsea that won the league title, Harry Kane at 21 years old at White Hart Lane, I remember it, New Year's Day, he destroyed John Terry. He destroyed like the entire Chelsea backline.
What was
He
the score
destroyed
that
it.
day? Was it
It was 5-3.
5-3?
Yeah,
It was
5-3.
5-3.
Dele
Harry
Alli and the
Kane,
man scored,
Harry
yeah.
Kane cooked these guys so bad that in the League Cup final 2 months later, Jose Mourinho had to put Kurt Zuma
In
at
midfield.
DM.
Yeah,
he had to
yeah.
put Kurt Zuma at DM because he said we can't leave
To protect Terry. Oh, okay.
we can't leave him.
Okay.
We can't leave him 1v1. We can't leave this guy 1v1 against our defenders because it's
testament
peak.
to Kane, man.
It's peak. And when you look at it, second all time, like second
All-time goal
all time.
scorer.
So that's why, like, if we're talking talent, like pure talent, brilliance, I'm gonna choose Luis Suarez every day of the week. But if we're talking the work that they mashed in the Premier League,
And a goal scorer. A
He-
goal
he's
scorer.
saying Kane. I've seen your brother
You
struggle
can
against
talk what you want to talk.
Jesus
But you know what it is,
Jackson.
Joe? We talk about all rounder. You're picking Harry Kane. Obviously, if you want the flair, if you want the brilliance of Luis Suarez, you pick him. But I just think we're Harry Kane, man. Like I get it, you know, he hasn't won that many trophies, but that's Tottenham. It's not him.
so this
You know
is
what I mean?
this is starts actually to be fair starts
Starts
off
off
self.
self.
So it's not even a case of like who's mashed the most work
No,
in the
it's
Premier.
not.
It's literally just
But the thing is,
your team.
Suarez, that Liverpool,
Innit? It's
It's
our
about
team.
what your team
that
is
Liverpool
saying. Yeah.
Suarez was at.
Yeah.
so then I already
was, I won't say Tottenham, that's disrespectful.
Dead team.
But that was 30 years into not winning a title.
Yeah, no, I
It's
agree.
Not like,
Yeah, I
it's not
agree.
like Suarez was
Brother,
at
we had John
you know,
Flanagan.
No,
bro.
John Flanagan.
90s United.
Yeah.
But this is the thing.
Mashed you up. Mashed you up.
But this is the thing.
Even Flanagan has scored.
Yeah.
Suarez didn't go on to win any majors at Liverpool. It was at Barcelona. Whereas Costa, which is why he's maybe been put in here,
carried- but then again, the team, though, the team
prems.
levels are-
Yeah, the 100%. The team
Yeah.
levels are completely different. This brother's playing with Fabregas. He's playing with Hazard. He's not playing with whatever guys you got going on
17-year-old
during that
With
time.
Suarez, he actually makes
He
things on his
elevated
own.
a 17-year-old
An aging
Sterling.
Gerrard who was about to
Gerrard
drop
was
off.
32
Yeah.
and broken.
It's pretty simple.
Is it though? Because
no,
now,
it is,
now I
because-
want to get into the mentality of the strikers. Costa and Suarez, the mentality, because you're saying about the finals and the big moments, that's what Kane's been criticised for. Our guys in the big moments, like you said, they deliver. And if I'm doing a start sub sell and I'm looking for my team, we just talked about mentality of Yapstam and all these other guys. We're talking about mentality. Well, when we're talking about mentality of my team, I
we're
need to
talking-
keep the levels high.
But we're talking about.
And-
But we're also
But
talking.
we're also-
We're also
yeah,
talking about the
exactly.
Prem.
Premier League.
Because in Costa did not score for Chelsea in the final. He's never scored for Chelsea in the final. And he played in, I think, 2 finals.
Is that
he
correct?
Played, yes, it is
played
correct.
in,
He played in the
United.
FA Cup final in 2016,
United.
2017.
Yeah, with Conte.
With Conte.
Hazard scored that day.
No. So
Against Man United, was it, in the final? 1-0 win?
Yeah, 1-0, 1-0. I remember that 1-0 one.
1-0
No, that wasn't his. That he was there before that. So it was against you lot
Arsenal.
when Aaron Ramsey scored the brace,
yeah.
right? So
That's not Conte's final.
actually, did he score in that final, Costa?
16-17.
16-17. Did he score in that final?
We played Man United 16-17.
No, you played Man
No,
United
that was-
17-18.
no, that was a different
Under
Oh,
Conte.
sorry. Yeah.
You made the final
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
16-17.
yeah.
I can't remember. I'll check it. I'll check it.
That was the year we finished 5th.
That was the year you finished first. 16-17. You finished first.
16-17 finished first.
Finished
17-18 the
you finished
final.
Fifth. You finished
yeah,
fifth.
Got the final.
So Costa, the point about mentality. If we're talking about Prem,
Okay.
there's nothing you can say about mentality
He did.
that can't apply.
He equalised.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
so he has
he
scored the
did score.
final.
Sorry. So there's nothing you can say about mentality for Harry Kane or for those guys that
True,
can't
it's
apply
Prem.
to Harry Kane
It's
because
Prem,
when
yeah.
it comes to big 6 games,
But do you know what he slightly means as well? And it might not be full under the word mentality here, but you see, again, I'm going to mention the whole South American part of things here.
Yeah.
Where they have a natural hunger, fight,
yeah.
desire, where that description could be leadership. Because when you're seeing them on the pitch, if things ain't going right, they're still trying to nibble at heels. They're still
Didn't
might
even
be
speak a
throwing
word of
little-
English, this man.
Whereas Kane was more portrayed and framed as
The
a
quiet
nice
one.
guy,
Yeah.
captain, happy-go-lucky. Do you get what I'm
But
saying?
Kane goes into any other
that
team,
worked
he mashes
against
work.
him. That worked against him.
But
Because
when
Kane-
you're
Kane
winning,
goes
when you're
into any
winning
of the
prems,
teams.
these are the intangibles you've got to look at. When you're winning
Yeah.
2 prems out of 3 years, you can't dismiss the mentality of the striker that's
Suarez.
leading.
Like-
the line.
do you know what's so crazy? I knew I effed up. He actually did score because
Yeah.
League Cup final against us. He scored against us
there
as
you
well.
go,
Yeah,
two
yeah.
finals, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know he's he's right.
I take it
You
back on the mentality
You
point, fine.
The thing is, you have to sometimes obviously we look at the team that they played in, and Harry Kane. If he went to remember Man City were after him, he was on the verge of seeing, like the numbers would have been scary
Would be scary, bro.
in that team.
100. For me, I've always said,
And
like,
I said, and I forever I wanted Harry Kane at Liverpool because you put Kane in that, and Firmino is an absolute legend of the game, and as far as I'm concerned. But you put Kane in that, Salah and Mane. Lord have mercy.
so I get. To be fair, I do get where he's coming from with Costa and Suarez. It's like that willingness to sort of win. Not to say that Harry had it. It's just those players in certain moments they had it more, and they would use that
towed
to
the
find.
line.
They would use that to
Yeah.
find a little bit extra
Yeah.
to try and get their team over the line.
Yeah.
But I do also think that in Costa's case, like in the league campaign, there's nothing Costa's doing that I don't think Harry Kane would be able to do outside of the dog. You know, the dog, like the goal scoring, the scoring against big six opposition, showing up in the latter stages of the season. Like he can do. Harry Kane could do these things, and for me, it's a big case of platform.
I can't lie, man.
It's a big case of platform.
It turned out to be a tough one, man. I'm telling you.
No, I can't lie. Yeah, you know what?
No, it's not a tough one for me. That's what
Who's the best finisher out of these 3?
Oh, it's
Kane?
Harry Kane without
Suarez.
doubt.
Suarez is a
Suarez
great
for me.
finisher, you know.
What?
It's Suarez for me. Yes, it's
Suarez's
for me.
variety of goals
Ridiculous,
maybe just a
Suarez.
little bit
It's
wider.
Suarez for me.
Suarez, yeah.
Yeah,
Suarez for me.
If we're talking about
It's Harry
variety of
Kane,
goals,
bro.
Variety of goals,
I'd say
inside,
Suarez,
outside the
Kane,
box.
Costa.
Yeah. It's not by a lot. It's fine margins. Kane's a
Suarez for
finisher as well.
No, it's not by a lot.
Kane outside the box
Kane
can
is a-
score.
I think the gap between
Kane is a tip.
Come to me, bro.
I think the gap between Costa and Kane is
Natural
big. It's quite
finishers.
big.
Natural.
But then
Natural
the top 2.
finishers.
Yeah, Suarez can be a bit messy at times, but he's got a variation of
And
finishes.
to be fair, his career
could look
goals
like-
is crazy, by the way.
Yeah,
Suarez.
Yeah, I would say outside the box, I think Suarez is a better finisher than Kane.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe,
Really?
yeah.
'Cause Kane has some long ranges.
Kane has some
But
long
Kane-
ranges.
that's what I'm saying,
I
Kane
think-
has some long
In
ranges.
fact, it's tough.
It's
And
tough,
this-
bro.
that's what I keep saying, man.
The
very
amount of
tough,
times I saw
bro.
Kane cough off that left
And
hand
I'm
side
an
and
old
just
man.
whip
Ping
it.
it.
You know what I
All
mean?
you have to be fair, for Kane, all you have to do, look at his XG. I know people don't care about XG, but look at his and Son's XG. When I say
They were
they're two of the best ever finishers in Premier
Bro, you know when
Premier
he-
League
Yeah,
history.
they were
You know the
over-exceeding their
striker
XG.
of the
So
ball.
No, I'm agreeing with
Kane
you. That's
would-
why
So
I think
you wouldn't have Suarez
but
first, would you?
to finish
You wouldn't have Suarez first, would you?
in terms of what?
Finishing. I actually might change my mind. I might put Kane ahead of Suarez on finishing.
Bro, listen.
He might
If we're
be,
talking
you
about
know.
finishing,
That's what I was saying.
I don't
is
wanna
there a
cause
difference
He might
between
be, you
finishing
know.
and
I don't wanna
shooting?
cause-
I don't want to
It's
cause
tough,
civil
it's
war.
tough.
Shooting. I
I'm
would
waiting
say.
for my
But I
evaluation.
have,
Kane
I
again.
have
better.
seen goals that Suarez has scored that Kane can't score.
Yeah, you know, I agree.
That's
That's
different.
all the
But
goals.
I
then
don't
that's
think
not-
I've-
that's
I don't
not
think I've
different.
seen
That's not
goals
finishing,
that
isn't
Kane
it?
That's
scored
different.
that
Like, if
Suarez
you put three
That's
on
different.
goal,
Because we say Jermaine
that's what
Defoe's
my
a great
evaluation
finisher
was
as
gonna
well.
be, but you've said it now.
if
Jermaine
you put
Defoe's a
four on
great
goal
finisher.
10 times, which striker do you expect to score the most in that
Again,
scenario?
again, give me
Kane.
either. I don't mind. They both
That's
shown
where I'm
to be
siding,
dangerous.
but it's just like-
You got a red header in as well.
Left foot, right foot.
Who's better aerially?
Left foot Kane. Have you seen left foot
Kane's
Kane?
better than
Kane.
yeah.
So that probably is what decides it then. Because left foot, right foot, I'm sorry, Kane is.
It's a
play.
mad header.
Is Kane's
Suarez-
left foot's
He's not
better
a bad
than
header.
Suarez
It's a
left
mad
foot?
header of the ball.
I don't think it is.
For a little man.
Kane's left foot was decent, but
Let's
Suarez.
wind it in and let's
I don't know.
let's come to a
let's
conclusion.
come to a
Everyone
let's
have a
hear it.
think.
But this is gonna be mad.
How should I start again?
I think yours is going to be mad.
No,
again.
let's start this way. Just
Alright, go on, Matisse.
Go on then.
You kick us off. Kane, Suarez, or Costa?
Oh, this is tough, man.
Start sub-sell.
This is tough because the intangibles are very important.
Yeah.
Like how can I not want a Costa in my squad? How can I say no to that? But if we're talking about player for player, he is third. I'm starting Suarez because he gives me a bit of the South American grit and the dribbling and the ball carrying, which I don't think Kane is not as quick as Suarez. But he's better passer, playmaker. I'll go Suarez. Kane and Costa. I'm starting Suarez. I'm benching.
Come on, I was gonna say.
I'm benching.
No, you're doing too
I'm
much.
benching Kane. I'm selling Costa. And the point is that you made is that the consistency of the goals throughout the season. There was periods where Costa, especially in our second title win, where they moved to China, January, his head fell off.
Yeah.
And then we were just carried by Hazard. And I'm pretty sure carried by Hazard in Jose Mourinho's first title win as well, second half of the season. Maybe tactically that's the reason as well. But yeah, he wasn't consistent throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
Fuck,
See,
that was
for
hard.
me,
I didn't
bro,
enjoy that.
I just the more you talk about Harry Kane, man, the more I've just had to change my mind. At first, I was Suarez, but I've changed my mind. I'm looking at a complete
needs flogging.
striker, man, and Kane
He
is a
needs
complete
flogging, man.
striker.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's not. I know his game.
Yeah, so I'm going with Harry Kane to start. I'm gonna sub Suarez, and listen, I'm sorry, Costa.
How am I taking the guy that didn't win? I'm taking the two guys that didn't win no prems.
Listen, bro. The thing is that we can't look at like honors as well. We got to
Yeah,
look
yeah, I
at
know.
ability, guys. We can't because we got.
We
gotta
know
be
if Kane
objective.
was in the top team, he's
It's
winning
got-
Premier League,
he's
he's racking
scoring,
Premier
yeah,
Leagues
come
up.
on, bro.
He's
Like, I have
racking
to
up
look at it that
prems.
way.
He's racking
And
up
then I'm
prems.
benching Costa. You know, even though I think Costa, man, impact he had in a short space of time, bro, was a bully. I know this. Listen, what's the point of this gimmick, man? Come on, man. Like,
Kane's racking up
It's obvious.
prems.
doing this,
He's
man.
racking
Like,
up
come on,
prems.
man.
It's obvious. I already know what this
I
guy
truly
likes.
believe that. I
I
truly
know
believe
that.
that.
surprised.
No, no, so far,
Bro,
I'm
put
surprised.
Kane in any of our top teams that
So far,
won
we've
stuff,
been
he's
very
racking
unbiased.
shit up,
I'm
bro.
surprised, and I'm
racking.
going to be unbiased as well.
Yeah, no, I know you are.
So I'm going to start Suarez. I think
Obvious.
Yeah.
the best just baller of the lot, all round striker as well.
Thanks.
I'm gonna bench Costa if I'm honest with you. I want a bully off the bench. I want someone that can come
do you know
on.
This is how I feel about
Do you know
Kane.
what?
Pick it up.
Off the
Crazy.
bench,
When I
what's
say
better?
outside, you
Yo,
need
look
flogging.
at Tony's
And
face.
Tobes, can
fine.
I? Tobes, this is my final thing I have to ask you,
What's
because I
better
actually
off
might
the
change my
bench?
mind. I actually might change my mind. Off the bench,
No.
no. I have to ask. 10, 15 minutes to go, going into a game that's already got rhythm. Do you want someone of Costa's type or Kane's type? And this is where I'm starting to lose my way.
Look
Because
at
I'm
you.
not starting Kane over Suarez. So I'm really thinking about the bench.
Brother.
Off the bench,
I've guessed him
bit
up.
between your teeth. The game's already in its flow state. You need someone who's already pumped to go in there and argy-bargy with the elbows. I'm sorry, I'm swapping. I'm going across the bench. I'm sorry. I can't do this.
Passion.
Wow.
So this is turned from start sub sell to passion. That's what it is. That's what it is.
He rudely, that way, it didn't rudely interject. It was,
That's what it is.
It was
But that's
his
what-
right
no
to
problem, that's your
readdress.
opinion.
Sorry.
No
But
problem.
he
No,
makes
no,
a
no,
valid
no,
point.
listen.
Costa off the bench. I like what he can bring. Like he can change it up. He can mix up. He can, and I think. Listen, I think Kane
Okay.
worries defenders, but I think Costa scares defenders. Depends what you want. They can work equally.
Kane scores
I like.
goals.
I like it.
I know.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you know, when you look at a Premier League winner or a title winner in general, the first thing you kind of look at
Yeah.
is who's their top scorer, and then you might look at goals conceded. More often than not, you look
Yeah.
at any winner of that, who's their top scorer. Both times Chelsea won the league, he got 20
Yeah,
goals
listen.
in the league. So in history now, and we lived through it. So it's not like we lived through and it's just it was just a nothing 20 goal. It was a hollow 20 goal year. It wasn't a hollow 20
No,
goal
I'm not
year.
saying it was hollow.
Hazard was there, Fabregas was there, and he still managed to shine in his own right. Now, you might say he fell off, but we're talking about bench here. So for me, Suarez, Costa, Kane, sold.
Listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion. He's a world class striker, so it is what it is. Like,
For me,
Or he
I'm
was,
with
sorry.
Toby here. For me, it wasn't hard. With all due respect to Costa and everything he done, for me, it was very close between Suarez and Kane, and that's me being a Liverpool fan. Suarez was a mad dog. We're not talking again like
I
we're
love how
not
you
talking
say
about
that.
his out. We're not talking about non-football stuff, yeah. So we know all that. But as a footballer, I don't know many footballers, and I'm sure you guys will agree, that will go to Barcelona and improve on an attack that already has Neymar, prime Neymar, and prime Messi. This guy went in there and said, "Yo, do you know I'm a big dog as well?"
Let's complete.
We're talking Messi and Neymar. We all know what we think about Messi and Neymar.
Yep.
This guy was not insecure. This guy wasn't a Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's amazing in his own level, but couldn't improve that attack. He went, "No, I'm going to finish this attack and make it number
He didn't
one."
get put on the touchline.
Can I say
like,
something though? I agree, and I wanted to raise this point.
It's not
But,
Premier League.
no. But now you have Costa came into the Chelsea side in a similar fashion. Hazard's the man. You need a 20-goal striker. I'm gonna be. Whereas Kane went into Bayern, and they didn't win the league.
Okay, no. So here's
He finished true.
no. Because I
I'm
thought
not
when I
blaming
said
him,
it's
though.
true, I thought you didn't mention what I thought you were gonna mention. I thought you were gonna mention the fact that he had mashed work at Atletico Madrid. They won the league title and they got to the Champions League final. Costa was pivotal to what
Yep,
they did,
he
right?
was.
So I thought that's what you were gonna mention, but no, silly me. you went in a route that I would expect of a disgusting Arsenal fan, right? Because you seem to think that one player is solely
He was just
responsible.
talking about impact to club.
Yes,
Right, so I'm
so-
talking
so,
about
but
impact to
guys,
club.
Had one of the best seasons
let's
Bayern,
we
you know, that
digress.
season.
We digress.
Yeah.
Let's finish
Sorry,
off this
sorry,
section.
yeah,
No.
We got lots
So
to talk
He's
about.
angry now.
So
We
he,
got lots to cover, man.
yeah, I'm gonna give my.
No, I haven't finished mine.
Oh, sorry.
So the reason, the only counter to Turkish would be, in terms of elevation, in terms of elevating that Liverpool team. I don't even want to name some of the players in that Liverpool team, and it's one of the most single-handed title wins. Nearly, apart from a Steven Gerrard slip, that would have been the most single-handed title win from Suarez at Liverpool
I hear
because that
you,
team was dead.
but
But anyway,
nearly.
for me, it's very close between Kane and Suarez. I'm going Suarez, Kane, and Drogba. Suarez.
Drogba.
Wow.
Costa.
Everyone started
Stood
Suarez.
apart on my chair.
Everyone started Suarez.
No. I started Kane.
No, you started Kane. Yeah,
Yeah, you
sorry.
started
Well,
Kane.
Yeah.
You convinced me.
Us two have sold
You've
Kane.
convinced
you
me
two
on
have
that.
sold
And I still feel guilty about it.
Costa.
But
So for me, number one is easy. It's Suarez because he's just the best striker of his generation by a country mile. So number one is Suarez for me. Number two is Harry Kane for the reasons I've stated. I mean, you don't become the second ever highest goal scorer in the Premier League without mashing the work that he's mashed. And that argument of who do you want off the bench, I get it, cool. He's going to come on, he's going to ruffle some feathers. But with all due respect, I want a player who's going to come off the bench and score goals and make others score goals as well, right?
Yeah.
Someone who's going to come, connect play, right? Score a goal out of nothing. He doesn't need, and so on, again, with all due respect, who Costa did carry. Costa did carry in spells, but they took turns, right? Kane and Son were carrying for years. For years, bro. They were carrying, mashing work, no matter who he was playing with, 30 to 40. No matter this player out, 30 to 40. So for me, Harry Kane number two, Diego Costa, fantastic striker, world-class striker in his pomp. And he was actually one of my favourite strikers in the Premier League when he was playing here. But I have to go with a striker who I felt was better as a finisher, better outside of the box, and scored more goals and mashed more work in the Prem.
That's fair.
You make
I didn't
a
expect
very
any different.
very fair case. If it's on player quality, there's not even a debate.
Yeah.
It's purely
I wouldn't
because
say
the
Costa
titles.
doesn't, but the way you said, Costa can ruffle feathers, but I want a striker to come on and score goals. Costa has proven that. I want a striker.
No, I said I want a striker to score goals and make others
Costa-
score goals.
Costa-
But I do. But
distracted.
Costa,
Yeah, but he could be
wasn't
distracted.
a great passer of the ball, but because of his style,
There's different strategies though. I get where
Don't get me wrong.
He helped Hazard. He helped
100%.
Fabregas. Who else was it? Schürrle that season? The first
Charlotte
season?
was there. We had
Yeah, a
Willian was
couple
there.
box
Hedgerow
crashes that
was
season
there.
and
100%. So don't get me wrong. Costa was a good footballer. I'm just saying Harry Kane for me is a better footballer.
Like for you,
Of course, he
you
is.
see, remember earlier, I don't really need to move on, but just my last point. Remember earlier, I think you said something about Salah, Mane, and maybe Kane up top or something. Was that? I think Costa would have suited that team more.
100%. Not more,
I think
but 100% was suited.
Like,
him, yeah.
I think Costa with Mane, Salah even had because of what he
The
brings
whole
and what
kinda-
they bring.
yeah.
I think
whereas
both would
Kane
work,
would kind of
but-
maybe.
I
it's
think
how-
Costa-
it's how
they are
Mane
different.
and
And
Salah
I think
step up.
Costa
That's why
relies
I
more on
Kane-
crosses
Kane's-
into the box.
Kane's
That's the
more
problem.
polished.
Salah Mane didn't like to get crosses into the box.
I think
Kane's more polished, and Kane will play make more for Salah,
That's
runs
it.
in behind, Mane's.
the new Kane,
It depends who you
latest
want the
Kane.
numbers
Yeah,
from,
yeah,
because
the
we've already
latest
seen.
Kane. I
no,
get
it's
that.
not the latest Kane because Kane was doing this even when he was bagging
Yeah,
30 to
people
40.
didn't see
But
it.
people didn't talk about it.
It depends.
No.
It depends who you want to get the numbers. Because I have no doubt Salah and Mane would create for others if they had to. Because we've seen it. We've seen Sane do it. Mane had no problem. But if you're looking at going in the same direction that Liverpool team was already going in, which is to create for the wingers, then Kane is a better passer, way of passer.
And I want it made clear because people like to misinterpret things. Diego Costa was a very good player. Nobody's talking about Costa like
No,
that.
we're not
This-
talking
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
on
yeah,
this,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
He was this guy who
This is
couldn't do
Turkish
anything
list.
but
Me and
score.
Kane though.
It's no
Yeah.
problem.
But you didn't
you
like
know
that.
what? Yeah.
But because
It's no problem.
the point you made, although true, was just it wasn't entirely accurate.
Although
You're being
true. That's all
no,
I
no,
like
no,
to
no.
speak
You're being
facts.
it's because you're being disingenuous.
Oh,
That's
Mr. Genuine here.
it's the truth. Yeah,
That word
trust me.
came out today
I
first
know
time.
what being disingenuous is because I do it. I do it
You don't know
regularly.
me.
I am Mr.
But
Disingenuous.
you were being disingenuous there because you said something that you knew would garner the reaction that it got. And I could say something about Costa
And has it worked?
that could garner a similar reaction, but I'm not going to say it because I have too much.
That's not like you, though.
I have too much respect for the striker.
Yeah, but you also know me and you're not the same, and the reaction you're going to give him and the reaction I'm going to give you is two different things.
No, but
Yeah.
it's not about you. It's about me and him.
Okay.
Now, so maybe later.
There.
People.
Yeah.
Remember earlier I said it's not necessarily about the same position.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are wingers here, but it's both sides.
Yeah.
Got it.
There's a
Yeah,
mixed
yeah, that's
bag.
fine.
Got it,
Who
got
do
it.
you start going into the season?
Yeah.
Who you bringing off the bench? And who you selling on deadline day? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Eden Hazard,
Oh shit.
Riyad Mahrez,
I know where we're going.
and Gareth Bale.
Oi, Grizz is like, yo, he's calmed down now.
No, it's cool. I don't like those ones. So man,
Because that was
leave
going
Salah
to turn
there.
into some
This one's-
madness.
I like this one.
This one's good.
For me,
I like this one.
for me,
But this one's-
Yeah, but we know.
For me,
we know.
this
we
is
go.
easy.
Right
I'm
on.
sorry, I'm not even gonna mince my words. We're talking about Eden Mikel Hazard. We're
It's actually
talking
tough though.
as a footballer.
So your start, bench, and sell is all easy. Is that what you're saying? Or your start?
Nah, this
'Cause
ain't
we all
easy,
knew
bro.
what your start's gonna be.
My,
He's saying-
my bench and
He got
sale.
excited when they went Eden
Yeah.
Hazard. You know
When I heard Eden Hazard,
yeah, he was like, yo.
I said, yo,
who?
my,
Bale,
blink,
who?
my blinkers are on. But when it comes to the bench and the sale,
Yeah.
100% there's
Brother,
definitely a
this is
conversation.
tough.
But with Hazard, I'm sorry, we're talking about like once in a generation player. Like this player is without the GNA is dazzling people, is twisting and turning through multiple players.
Other two as well.
Bale is pace. I'm
No,
running past
Bale's
players.
technical quality.
Yes,
Yo,
but
listen.
not on Hazard's level.
Yeah,
not on
it doesn't
Hazard's
have to
level.
be on Hazard's level.
It does in this conversation because
No, it
that's how
doesn't.
we're splitting them, right? Hazard is a big game player against all top 6 sides. He's turning up in finals. You know in Baku. He's going through defensive structures. When we're talking about low blocks, who can find a way? Oh, can you play a pass? Maybe a 1-2. This guy is going past 2 or 3 or 4 players at your stadium twice. You know this. And he's doing it on his own. Forget who's around him. We're not talking about who can help him at this moment. This player and the football as one entity versus 4, 5, 6 players at a time, he is going through a whole block and he's scoring. That is something that these 2 players that are on this list cannot do. They cannot do it.
You want to
I'll
talk about
argue
the other two?
Bale's done it.
I
now.
can't
wait
do.
your turn,
Wait
wait
your
your
turn.
turn.
So
can't do it.
did I just imagine what Gareth Bale did at the San Siro?
Transition,
No, wait.
transition.
No.
Low block. I'm talking low block.
You're talking low block?
Long shot, low
Okay,
block.
no.
I got you. Free kicks.
No.
Long shots. I got you.
I'm so glad.
Low block.
I'm so glad he said low block. Cause guess what, Mister? When Gareth Bale made his name, guess which other team he dunked on? Guess which other team he dunked on in 2010? Low block at White Hart Lane. The great Chelsea. Taxi for John Terry. Again. John Terry. Go.
I'm about to read.
Man thing.
Yeah, listen.
Imagine if
Go.
Van Dijk had to play against these players.
Listen.
Brother,
Turkish.
No.
Wait.
I ain't finished.
Hold on.
Okay.
But
Stop.
the way this man
Sorry.
is grinning every time he hears John Terry's name, Van Dijk is getting twisted up by Jackson and Jesus.
Bro, I don't care.
Jesus!
Martial as well,
You can
Martial.
try-
Don't smile.
You can try your
Don't
hardest.
smile.
You can try your hardest, but this was a Chelsea team that were going for the title title and won the title. They had the best defense in the league. Guess which player what was he? I think he was maybe 19, 20 years old. Go and watch the game. Tottenham 2, Chelsea 1 at White Hart Lane 2010. He absolutely destroyed the living daylights out of Chelsea. Low block team. He got, I think it was either Ivanovic or Terry. He got one of them sent off. He killed. Go check it.
Hazard versus Tottenham. Do you want to do this?
No. But you can do it with Hazard. But you made a statement that was incorrect. You said no other player can go through.
Not like Hazard. Not like Hazard.
Okay, so then say that. Say not like Hazard. But you said those two other players, they've not done it. So I'm giving you examples.
Not Mahrez can.
Done it like Hazard.
I've given you examples where Gareth Bale literally tore the living daylights out of multiple players. Yeah? And then we ain't even spoken on Riyad Mahrez. You want to talk about players dribbling through.
Brother.
I get it. That's Hazard. Hazard is the standard bearer of that.
Yeah,
but when you're saying other players can't do it, that's disingenuous because
at his level. Obviously, on this list,
then.
everyone can do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this list.
Calma.
But at Hazard's level,
I guess
you're not doing it.
Each winger here has something that the other can't do to that level.
What? Okay, so pace-wise, obviously, Bale was burning. Set pieces-wise, free kicks, Bale is burning.
Dribbling, you know what, man? Like
dribbling
Hazard is going to be better, but Mahrez is dribbling.
I think Mahrez is close behind dribbling.
Close control dribbling.
First touch.
I'm giving it to Mahrez.
Even Berbatov levels of first touch.
And shooting, I'm giving it to Bale and Mahrez over Hazard. They were better.
I agree with that.
Mahrez.
I don't think Hazard's. I don't think Mahrez's shooting should be in the same realms as Bale. I'm sorry. Bale should be in a different.
No. But I said shooting. I'm giving Bale and Mahrez over Hazard. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Bale had the power shot. Mahrez had the placing shot.
No,
Bale had both.
Bale had both.
Bale had both.
No.
How many times he's cut in that season?
Yeah, Bale had both.
He had curlers. He had dinks. Bruh,
Mahrez is
headers. No.
Yeah.
See what it is, right, guys?
Mahrez is a cold finisher.
We were talking about Harry Kane and Suarez, yeah? And you lot were saying Suarez was technically just above the two. Eden Hazard was just above Bale and Mahrez. Listen, the quality is high, guys. The benchmark is high. But what them man could do?
When Hazard was in this league, there was no
that against Mahrez.
Not
with
On a given day, Hazard could do better.
What I'm going to argue for Mahrez here, yeah? You mentioned inconsistency with Costa. I'm not going to mention this with Hazard in terms of end the season, because he turned up a lot. But he showed that things have to be good for him to excel, right? Because there are some seasons he put down tools to help get rid of managers. Now, the question I ask here is, would Hazard be able to do
That's a club thing.
Do it at a
That's
Leicester?
not a Hazard thing. Because
I don't think he'd be able to hack it at a Leicester. Whereas Mahrez done it.
Oh, he would.
I think
he would. He was. So
Hazard
was at Lille.
Once he got
Hold
his
on.
goal, it's different. Though.
Hazard was at Lille as a teenager, winning the league, player of the year, handling business. Younger than both these men, right? Bale was quite young when he started, but Bale as a 19, 18-year-old, I remember seeing in the papers his brother's linked with Moose to Roma on loan and shit.
Yeah, because he wasn't playing.
Yeah, he wasn't playing. Not his fault, but he had a
start.
So,
he didn't start.
100%.
He was being subbed in games.
We have to remember, Hazard was not playing for attack-minded managers. Hazard was playing for managers like Conte, Mourinho.
Park the bus, did they?
No, I didn't say park the bus.
Right,
See,
you
like to say park the bus because you're a Liverpool fan and you like to gloat about the way you play. But there's
he just said my manager didn't like attacking.
You know what? You know what? You as a football man, I expect better. You as a football man that's been watching football for decades. Since dinosaurs, you should understand the art of defending, appreciate it, and call it for what it is. Don't be a kid and call it park the bus.
I appreciate it.
Don't be childish.
I appreciate it.
This is an adult show. This is.
How old are you? What did Steve say to me last night? How old are you?
9.
Park the buses for children.
Man said 9.
Park the buses for children. Defensive structure was there.
Conte, I have to disagree with you there.
Conte when he went to his full-back system.
He wasn't a defensive back five. That back five was attack.
He had the wing backs,
but that team for me was more attacking.
Sorry.
No, but he did. Yeah, it was transitional. But to be in transition in the first place, that means your attackers are not getting loads of touches.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't agree with that because maybe it runs for the second season with Conte where things plummeted, but in that season you won the title.
Who blaming?
The reason why it worked so well is because he was able to give your defense Matic and Kante screening in the defense, and you had your wing backs. So the likes of Hazard, they're getting the ball where they're fresh. they can go at the opposition.
Was it Victor
I'm not
Victor
having
Moses,
that one.
yeah.
That
Was he
first
left
season
back?
when you won the league title,
no,
92
went back,
points.
they had a
I
lot
ain't
of
having
left
that
back.
one. Saying he
look
was
at Hazard's,
stifled by the system.
look at Hazard's best season statistically. Who is it under? Sorry.
Yeah.
An attack-minded manager who had a system in place in a similar principle kind of way to Man City and Mahrez. My point is as an attacker, it is far easier to deliver and to put up numbers in teams that attack than it is than teams that focus.
So
on
why did
defending
Bale? Why
first.
did Bale do it for AVB with a dead team, with a manager?
You
who-
speak on that
with
because
a-
I
with-
remember
with-
Harry
with-
Redknapp.
with- Yeah,
Harry
and-
Redknapp. Like you was actually quite an entertaining team from what
Yeah,
I
so-
remember.
so
I remember
like-
you being boring.
So with Harry, when Harry first came in, Bale wasn't playing. He was a left back. Bale came into the team because Asu Koto got injured, and Harry put him at left back. And he saw, hold on, wait a second, this guy's getting the ball at left back, and he's literally cooking, man. Let me move him further up because we had injuries. And when he moved him further up the pitch, the rest was history. The rest was history. He cooked against Arsenal in that run-in where we basically clinched 4th Champions League, right? He cooked against Arsenal, Man City, and Chelsea.
annoying that
Cooked. The next season, Champions League, we all know what happened in San Siro. And then in the Premier League, I think he hit double figures. I think he was a bit inconsistent in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Personally, he won PFA,
And
young
the 12,
player
13
and
season, it was ridiculous.
But then, and the same happened the following season. Then the next season with AVB, no Modric, no Van der Vaart.
He carried you lot, he carried you lot.
Ledley King had retired. You're playing with Clint Dempsey. You're playing with.
I respect Clint Dempsey though. He was
Javier
alright for
Chenko?
you lot.
No, he wasn't, to be honest.
But he was getting you goals.
Stop it.
But you know what it is though?
Clint Dempsey was
Clint
better at
Dempsey,
Fulham.
man. Did you say
Let me say something.
respect on Clint Dempsey's
Let me
name?
say-
He's
let me
better
tell
at
you
Fulham
something.
than Tottenham.
I'm not even calling him a bad player. I'm saying
Yeah.
that.
You
I'm
know,
saying
he was
that the
average.
way that he
They
had.
weren't like there was some
Exactly.
good players
He
in
was
there though.
average.
So that's what elevates Bale.
Exactly. So I'm like, you're saying Hazard was stifled by systems. Gareth Bale scored 21 goals for Tottenham.
ridiculous.
In a system that was basically not a system. We didn't really play. Our system was Bale and Inshallah. And that was for a dead manager. And then went to Real Madrid where the weight the shirt. You know the weight.
Keep it Premier
But then-
League.
but then
man.
we-
Premier
No,
League.
but let's
Premier
talk.
League.
Premier League. No, we have to talk about
Premier
it.
League.
We have to
Premier
talk about it
League.
because
Premier League.
you know,
You don't wanna go
Judge-
there.
Judge,
Yeah,
is this
shirt-
Premier League?
You don't wanna
the
go
shirt-
there.
Judge.
No, yeah,
You
exactly.
don't wanna go there.
He knows where I'm going.
Where we going?
The shirt is
Where's
heavy.
the
shirt is heavy. His first season
Where
at
is
Real
it?
Madrid. His first season at
He was
Real
kind of
Madrid.
dusted by them.
You know,
bro.
like, where
His
this is
injuries
going.
gone.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Gareth
But
Bale now.
okay,
So
yeah.
the shirt is heavy, and Bale went there and carried that
Carried,
shirt with
bro.
aplomb. 2 Champions League finals he scored in across multiple 20 plus goal
And that
seasons.
goal.
So
That
please,
goal against
I
Liverpool.
get the point you're making. Nobody,
Karius.
nobody can touch Hazard
No, the
when it
overhead
comes to
kick,
dribbling,
blood clot.
right?
Oh,
but if I'm talking about which player. Literally, if which player maximised themselves
Premier
to the
League.
most
In the Premier League.
and
Goal-scorer-wise as
attribute
well.
for attribute as well.
Brother.
Attribute for attribute. You talk about carrying.
Premier League.
If you're asking me to start a season today in 2025, which player am I going to pick fully fit to carry me over the course of the season?
See that again.
I'm sorry, there's
Hold
no
on.
way.
And he's gonna
Gareth-
hold on,
there's
hold
no-
on, hold on,
sorry,
hold on,
sorry,
hold
sorry,
on,
I ain't finished.
hold
My
on.
final
Alright,
point.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
I'm sorry.
We need
there's-
to
sorry.
see some Mahrez
Carrying
problems.
the
Yeah,
team,
no.
putting
I'll be
that team
honest,
on your
fuck
back.
Mahrez.
Forget Mahrez,
I'm coming
guys,
back.
man.
Sorry, you're not having Hazard over Bale. I'm sorry, you're
My
not.
brother was winning
You're not.
trophies with Morata up front. Right, William. Let's not start gassing.
Who's he
Let's
playing
not start
for?
gassing how great
Who's
William
he playing
was.
for, Matisse?
Bro, he's playing for Chelsea. But look at the attacks he's
playing for
part
who?
of. He wasn't always with Costa
He's
and with
playing for
Fabregas.
who?
He was
Matisse.
with Higuain.
Matisse, who's he
He was
playing
with
for?
Morata.
Who's he
He
playing
was
for?
with Eto.
How
he
much
was
did you
with
spend that season?
a broken Torres.
How much did you spend that season?
Demba. These are the names you need to reel off when you're
How
talking
much
about
did you
Hazard.
spend
Listen
that
to me when I'm
season?
speaking. You need
Yeah?
to be reeling off these names because let's not talk like Chelsea are some dominant Man City team like Mahrez, and that's where it's going to fall down for him, where he's just picking up prem after prem after prem. Chelsea were inconsistent at the top level. Chelsea did not make a semi-final from when Jose lost it to Atletico Madrid in 13-14 all the way to when Tuchel won it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that attack that he was part of
And
multiple
who's-
years.
and who
He's
didn't show
carrying
up?
Chelsea
Who
year
didn't show
in,
up in
year
some of those
out.
games?
But you
Yeah,
said,
but we're not talking about Champions League. We're talking about Premier
Who
League.
didn't show up in?
We're talking about
Who
Premier
didn't
League.
show up in
It's
some of
about
those
Premier League.
games?
Premier
Because I'll
League.
tell you this for
Is
free.
it Champions
Gareth
League?
Bale in Champions League.
100%.
The rest is history.
100%.
The rest
I'm not
is
even
history.
going to
League,
comment.
yeah.
If it was Champions
You
League,
said Mahrez falls over here, though. Mahrez won it with Leicester, bro.
Bro, Leicester.
Exactly.
You're forgetting that. That's Premier League.
That's
bro.
that is actually Premier League
And he was
heritage.
a top three
In a
there.
team-
And
in a
on top of
team,
that-
yeah, that-
on
bro,
top of that,
let's
at
be honest.
City,
But I'm having Hazard
You're
over-
right about the
over
City
Mahrez.
thing in terms of. But the reason I've got him here is because even at City, he's come out of that era being labelled as clutch in that era too. Him and Gundogan were often looked at as if maybe
Bro.
De Bruyne's not doing it. even that I know it's Champions League, but that season the year before they won
Ramadan
it,
Mahrez has said it.
bro.
Ramadan Mahrez
has carried them in moments as well, and he's technically as gifted as these man. Maybe not dribbling wise, his dribbling is elite. Yeah. But Hazard and Bale, I like their dribbling more.
Do you know what falls
Mahrez's technical base is
do you know what falls for Mahrez?
Bonkers,
Is
bro.
Mahrez at City and the Leicester thing, 100%. That is iconic. That is like in history.
They say he got
ingrained.
overshadowed.
But not even that. It's just when you're surrounded by that many quality players. We're talking about David Silva's, De Bruyne's. No, but he didn't. Like, let's be serious. You've got Sane's, you've got Aguero's. Like, there's too much quality there for you to pluck out Mahrez and put him alongside a Bale and Hazard, who are literally carrying their teams. Mahrez has never had to carry City.
He hasn't.
No, but he hasn't.
Not
over a whole season.
Exactly.
He carried
But
Leicester.
he
He helped carry Leicester.
That's
Bro,
one
he
season,
literally-
and that's incredible. But you know,
That's one of the
Kante
greatest
was
ever
also there. You know,
Premier League
it was 100%.
titles we're talking about
But
here.
he doesn't. That season doesn't get him into Hazard Bale convos for me. It doesn't.
I think
but
that
it
season
can-
has
it
to
can-
get him into a Bale
I
combo.
was gonna say Bale,
But then Bale,
I was gonna say, man, like,
Why am I sticking up?
I don't know why you're sticking up for him.
I'm not
Bale, no
Yeah,
respect, yeah.
helping you.
It takes away
He's
anything
trying
that
to
Bale can.
eliminate.
Yeah,
It's
because
hard
he
to
literally
eliminate
carried your
because it's
team.
different
No.
things, innit?
If we're talking Premier League seasons,
Yeah.
then yes, of course, that Mahrez season is comparable to any season we've seen from these players, from Bale and from Hazard. That's a fact, because he was actually insane. Like, he was bonkers, bro, that season, right? And he was just a bonkers player. Like, he had these moments at Man City where he dropped off a
he
little
got
bit,
better at
but he was
City.
just I don't even think he got better. I just think he was just quality. Like, he was just
He
top.
levels
top,
up because he's at a
He
level.
levels up to a team that, bro, some people,
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think he got better. I think he was doing what he was doing. It's just you're
No, I'm
doing
saying
it
though,
for.
as in, like,
Bigger
people
stage
thought
at
he was
that
going to
level,
get
you got-
stifled and he was going to get, you look at these guys go Doku and that now, and you look at it like, this guy was literally doing his
They
thing,
never
that he carried it
they've
on
never
from
replaced him
Leicester.
since. They've never been able
I
to
know.
replace him since.
Yeah.
So, you know, people talk about it's so easy to replace X, Y, Z. Go and replace Mahrez.
It's
It's
tough
Mahrez.
because
They haven't.
you don't really get, and the thing is with Mahrez, you don't really get wingers like Mahrez nowadays. You can
No.
it's a combination of all three. Like, I say all three, a combination of things. Like, they can score goals, they can dribble, they can cook you 1v1, and they can play, mate.
And work rate.
And
Mahrez
it's the
got
same.
work
It's the
rate.
same for
And
Hazard, and it's
Leicester.
the same for Bale. It's nowadays with wingers, they can either do one thing really well, but they struggle in the other things. Whereas we're talking about three wingers that could do a combination of multiple things to a top standard. However, I'm with Matisse on this one. I'm sorry, player for player.
I get
You start. I think Toby
understand.
starts.
Toby starts.
Yeah, you
this
got
one.
Toby,
Yeah,
you
got this way now.
I think it's only fair. So
yeah,
yeah.
listen.
So for me,
We land with
Start
Matisse
sell.
this time.
So for me, if I wasn't looking at how many seasons, this is start sub
This
sell.
starts sub-sell,
Yeah,
man.
so
Why
that's
you
what
giving
I'm
us
saying.
context.
No, because I have to.
He has to explain himself because he
I
knows he's
have
about to do a
I have
madness.
to. Because for me, I'm sorry, Gareth Bale for me is iconic. And I'm putting him number one. He's number one. Any game, any season, any opponent, he's winning me that game of football if I need him to. Right? Number two, I give Hazard for the reasons that Matisse has stated. And unfortunately, Mahrez, as talented as he is, I can't put him above those two players. So I'm going to put Mahrez number three.
Bale starts. Sub.
For me, it's very easy. I tried to stay quiet because I agreed with a lot of what you lot said, but Hazard, for me, was my favourite player. He's my favourite Premier League player.
Fair.
Apart from Liverpool,
Yeah,
obviously. He's my favourite Premier League player.
High
That's
praise.
fair.
And I've seen decades, as you lot know, and I think he's magic. I think he's fucking sensational. He's a genius with the football. Again, this is going to be controversial, but I don't think he fulfilled, in my opinion. You're not going to argue with me. You're not going to fight me because I said the same
That's what I'm
exact.
saying.
He didn't fulfill
I
his
agree with you.
talent levels because his talent levels were,
I agree with you.
yeah. But so for me, Hazard, I'm starting. Bale above Mahrez, very close. Mahrez, but Bale was a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just a footballer. Like, I love the way Redknapp's turned him into from left back to left wing because of the attributes he had. And that's not downplaying Mahrez.
No.
Mahrez is a wizard as well.
But-
But that's
Yeah.
It is hard, man. Because I'm probably going to leave. Yeah, you know what? I start Hazard. And look, you thought.
I know what he's gonna.
thought-
I already knew your answer.
No, let me give context. Why are you talking about me? I don't
Because
get it.
he came and he looked at me. He's like, you. Let him. No, don't look at me. Don't look at me. You look at me when you're singing. No, I wasn't.
This guy.
Don't look at me, brother.
This guy here.
so easy to trigger.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at him.
I don't need to look at him.
Don't look at him.
No, I'm actually
That's better for my eyes.
Yeah, better,
So
yeah, don't
he-
look at him.
whatever
Don't
it
look
is. Last time he thought there was an agenda, right? Because of it, I made my case for Costa.
Yeah.
This time I'm putting Bale off the bench because I feel like off the bench, Bale is going to have much more impact or can have much more impact to change the flow of a game or add that something than Mahrez. So I'm saying start Hazard, bench Bale, sell Mahrez.
So all that ag over nothing.
Yeah, you
Apologise.
got no. Yeah,
Apologise.
spun me.
Nah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go the same, bro.
There's no Liverpool players, but he's still going to sell a Liverpool player.
I
There's no Liverpool player in this list. He's going to say,
You know what?
sell the Liverpool player.
Salah,
Yeah, sell.
Sell the Liverpool player.
Sell. No, I'm gonna start Eden Hazard, man. Listen, for me, I'll always put him at the top, just in terms of what we've seen and the ability, the sheer ability wise, he's ahead of these guys. And I'm not gonna do the whole trophy bias and everything like that, even though I think Mara's a quality player, but Gareth Bale, in terms of talent wise, one of the best wingers we've ever seen in the Premier League. So I'm gonna put bench Gareth Bale, and I'm gonna sell reluctantly Mahrez, even though I think we didn't spend enough time with him. I think he deserves a bit more praise.
Yeah, Hazard start, bench Bale, sell Mahrez. I'm just thinking what Bale could have done in that Liverpool team as well under Klopp.
I actually think if we're talking legacy here, definitely. If we're talking
100%.
of all time, Mahrez is above Bale.
Yeah.
In Premier League legacy. That's
Premier League
fair.
legacy.
gonna
Yeah.
say,
Facts.
Not overall legacy.
What Bale
What Bale did for his country.
legacy.
And
What
Madrid.
Bale did for Wales and at
No,
Madrid.
No,
Premier
Madrid,
League.
we're talking about all time.
Fair.
Premier League legacy.
that- Leicester
And that's
thing
again
alone
purely
is-
because of Tottenham not winning anything.
Yeah,
Because
that's
if
it.
Bale's at a top 6 club,
Fair.
like not
Yeah,
top
100%.
like
Yeah.
a winning club,
Yeah,
he's
yeah, I
winning.
agree.
He's winning
Fair.
everything.
Yeah.
I agree with that. All right, so we've gone for the same. Starting Hazard,
Yeah.
And
benching Bale.
all three of us.
You
All
were the
four
same?
of us.
Okay, so
Yeah,
just...
It's only him he started, Bale.
All right, cool. Makes sense, though.
No, yeah, it makes sense.
Don't look at each other.
Bale's
Don't
better
look
than
at each other.
Hazard. Hazard. Yeah.
Sorry, uncle. People, listen, it's been longer than expected, but
Yeah, this is it, man.
the debate was right.
This has
So
been very juicy debates.
yeah, man. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Let me know if I'm doing my thing in the selection. It's not ChatGPT as this mug says. It's all up here, people. Yeah,
all
hours
in
put
there.
in,
All in the
producing.
brains.
Yeah. If you've enjoyed it, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, share it, socials, Insta, Twitter or X or whatever they called it, TikTok and whatnot. Look at him here. Look at him. Rewind it. See how rattled he was with my selections. But let us know yours. Hit the like button. We're gonna get on to the next one. Make sure you're subscribed and love for the love, people. All right. Peace.